bit. You good to go?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're going. Now we're going. God, tech difficulties have been our issue lately. Eric
Just,
Reginger,
just relax, everybody.
I'm getting dad mad.
I am too.
I'm getting so dad mad sitting still. You pointed this out to me, the Apple Watch. It'll tell you to breathe.
Yeah. It's
I'll be-
it's full of useless reminders.
I'll I'll be
Don't forget to breathe.
I'll be I'll be sitting there just thinking about an argument that I just had, but I'm sitting still, and it's like
And it pops up.
the worst one is the one that says you haven't done anything, and your heart rate's at 120.
Yeah, well, that's not good. That's
That's me. That's me fuming.
Go to the doctor
No.
for that.
No, I mean that's me getting. My heart rate is higher normally, just nothing. But I'm saying like
That's not
That's-
something to be proud of.
that's weird. I'm not proud of it. It's scary, is what I'm saying. Now, I'm a
Yes.
hypochondriac, so I've already checked with my doctor because that's what I do. I bring in a list of questions every time I go in. Shout out to Dr. Dewani, and he loves this podcast, and so he's never listened or knows what a podcast is. But I bring in a list of questions, and I'm not proud of it. I'm just saying that's crazy psychosomatic almost. How your brain can get you so mad, but physically I'm not doing anything. Internally, physically I am.
Yeah. Well, wait. What are you mad at other than the technical difficulties? Is that what you're mad at?
No. I guess I transitioned in between thoughts a little bit, but I am mad how much time we spend on,
Okay. Yeah.
on tech issues, and that's a good kind of segue into apologizing to the audience about the last 2 weeks. So good news, bad news. We have some good things in the hopper coming up. Unfortunately, we have to do that thing where we're super vague because we can't. That's the bad news.
Yeah.
We can't really talk about it yet. Just know.
Trust me, we will talk the shit out of it once we can. But
Yeah, and maybe in more frequency too.
Yes.
Ooh, I gave away a
for
little
sure.
bit.
Yeah.
So
All that.
So good news is stuff in the future, near future, is going to look good no matter what happens. If we get this thing going, we have a backup plan anyway. Bad news is we didn't bank enough episodes or schedule our time together to do episodes with guests. We just got in a hurry, so the last one, Eric did a great job. Well, here I went good news, bad news, right? I want to start it that way.
Yeah.
And then cheers and jeers. And no one wants to hear notes on how they did and all this stuff. So it's not like a report card or anything. I thought you did a really good job. I had a
zoo
stacked
crew
deck. Yeah.
in my fucking face between my wife and my best friend, who they have about zero respect for my opinions and whatnot. No matter.
You wrangled them as much as you could.
I don't know why I thought it was a good idea. I don't know what I was thinking, but here we are.
Well,
We're back to normal.
It's not as bad as you think because you haven't listened to it back, right?
No. Well, I listened to the first 5 seconds, and it was me maxing out, and I was just I can't even listen to this shit. So
The audio's a little bad. That's not a big deal. I think a lot of people would. I don't think we have the audio file kind of listeners. I think a lot of people would put up with that. We're not a music podcast, so it's like,
yeah,
or we're not like audio tech people kind of podcast.
the
So
voiceover podcast.
I'm sure it made some people mad, and I hope they don't unsubscribe. But we tried it. We figured get something out is better than not get it out at all, and we wanted to make sure we get one this week on Thursdays like we've been doing.
Yeah, well, we've been, it hasn't been that bad. It's been maybe 1 week. This will be our second one over the last 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, but it's
Which
that
isn't
thing of
too bad.
being consistent for podcasts is so huge, and as someone who absorbs a lot of them, I get perturbed if I don't know there's not that episode coming up. Because sometimes when you're really bored or you're really in monotony, you kind of rely on
Right. Yeah,
rely
that new
on
one.
4 Rogan podcasts, 3 or 4 a
Yeah.
week, and when he goes hunting and doesn't tell you, you're like,
Dude, just the volume he's doing those. That's a lot.
So
12 hours a week on air.
I thought you had good opinions, and it made me reflect a little bit that you had some good angles weaved in there, like right off the bat about I didn't know how. I forgot how libertarian because you can be.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Before we start breaking me down,
No. This is.
Do you
good.
wanna-
This is a good thing.
do we want to talk
What?
about FreshBooks? Do we want to get
Well,
our sponsorship?
I'm
Done.
gonna weave it in because that's part of this.
Because that I was just like, I don't even care at this point. Sorry, FreshBooks.
No, I know.
I owe you an apology.
No,
publicly.
I was gonna get to that. That was the only jeers I had.
Yeah. No, I know.
But it made me reflect. I gotta stop steamrolling you because there's stuff that you've got on your mind probably, and I probably talk over. That was the jeers too. You couldn't help it, but everybody's over talking.
Yeah. That I mean, I don't really feel that way from you, but you're also the host.
Well,
The host
no,
needs to steamroll a little bit.
It's a co-host, but yeah, so someone's got to kind of guide the boat a little bit, and someone, there's more fluidity. I'd say going forward, it's got to be like you ever watch how ice hockey players just kind of they get in there and they get in a first, second, third, fourth line, right, all together, and they're just fluid. They don't talk to each other yet, but they know what to do. They kind of get in there and kind of fluidity a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not coming in for podcast practice though.
I'm talking.
That's why they're able to do that.
I'm talking about sexual fluidity. We have to bang.
Man.
No. I'm saying like it's like pick up basketball. Like you play with guys you've never met, but you somehow kind of know. Everybody kind of falls into line. So sometimes you're a Chief, sometimes you're an Indian. I thought John Paul did a good job asking questions as the everyman.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Nikki actually was really great. Your wife, sometimes you're the sharpshooter. You're kind of the assassin when you're on a podcast with a lot of mics.
Right.
So she would just kind of she'd throw in something every now and again.
Yeah.
At least in the beginning half.
Yeah. That happens a lot, not just on podcasts.
But I think she was
zingers going around.
She was funny though. I think you probably got in your own dome about how it was going as you're doing it.
I knew it was fucked from the beginning.
No, it was a good story. The most important thing is we got that story on hand, and maybe it actually helps someone else.
Yeah, okay. And, the subject matter itself, to me, is one of my favorites. Talking about doing psychedelics. I'll sit and listen to anybody's silly story. So there is that. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that can help you coming out of it. So if you can manage not hearing quality audio, then we'll be good.
Who knows? This episode with the tech issues could.
This one might be dog shit too.
We have 3 things recording audio just in case, and none of them might work. Who knows?
Yeah, just be patient with us, please. Thank you.
Our equipment is elsewhere. That's all we can say. And the Mevo camera is dog shit on us. So I hope they fulfill their end of the bargain where they're going to replace it.
Yeah.
Because we throw out a lot of love and then we don't get a lot back from you, Mevo.
Yeah, we're calling you out, Mevo.
So the other jeers was just describing a product. There's audio. You got to remember the audio listeners, and you tried a little bit, but it was definitely like y'all were describing the mustache, and it was like, yeah, it looks like this, and then you open this up, and it's like, you got to use your words, man.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if Dave wanted to really, I think I asked him. Get into the pitch side of it.
You did.
In terms of like him doing it, like him describing it.
But you said
what else did I do wrong?
That's it. You didn't. This isn't like a report card, man. This is all. This is good. The fact that we got it up and out, and I was the guy running around outside of the podcast studio. I lost my wallet. I was frantically doing a lot of I had to do a bunch of work. It was just a bad day. I wanted to be in here, so it's even weirder for y'all that I'm in the office while y'all are recording the podcast.
Yeah, that wasn't really in my head.
Well, we'll give a little subtle hottie toddy and get this show started. Hottie toddy.
That was good. I'll take that.
Sweat
Very
equity.
Nice.
There's no hottie toddy. You didn't do that, but that's okay. It's not your calling, man. I would say FreshBooks. We don't have a promo code. That was the only real jeers I had.
No?
No, we have an affiliate link.
Sorry.
It's gofreshbooks.com/sweat.
Okay.
Not promo code sweat. Because, I don't know, we don't get that. We should.
Man. Hope I can make my mortgage payment this month.
Really dick that up, the whole thing's going under now. We're going belly up because that promo code error.
Yeah.
We're not a promo code, but we do have an affiliate link.
All the others are promo codes.
It'll be in the description. We should just have it statically on our site, since we don't really change the sponsors too much. We can have all three of them that are our main sponsors up.
Yeah.
I'll make a note of that. Yeah, 3 ad display sponsors on website.
That's your note-taking voice?
Yeah, it sounds like Mr. Peabody.
I'll end up doing that shit anyway.
Look, I'm crushing out my taxes right now for the business of Tocobaga Consulting, the office we're sitting in as we record this, and QuickBooks is terrible. I got to get off that. I got to get over to FreshBooks. It's administratively, I can't. I get that Florida snowball where I can't get that move over yet, but I'm going to this year because fuck QuickBooks, FreshBooks for life.
You got to still explain the Florida snowball. I don't even remember what it was, and
It's when you have a task or a project you have to do, and it keeps you keep kind of delaying it, whether you procrastinate, whether it's a legit reason or not, and then it just becomes this huge thing that you never get to. In this case, it's already melted, and now I have to fucking cramp.
It's literally the opposite of what you're talking about.
It's a snowball.
Florida snowball goes down.
It keeps growing, and then it just melts eventually.
Okay.
I'll think of a better name. Look,
yeah, you got to work on that one. Better name for
this.
Florida. I know, and you're still pushing the Florida snowball is why I'm calling you out. That's all.
Well, we'll figure out a better term. I'm elastic with it. I'm flexible on it. I'm just saying, go freshbooks.com/sweat. That'll get you that 30-day free trial, that hookup. Holler if you hear me.
Holler.
All right. I've got you. Do you have anything you want to talk about? I think the lead.
I don't really want to talk about it.
Is kind of inside you and kind of outside of you.
Yeah. So
where does it lie?
Just if you're not into gross talk, you might want to fast forward the next at least 5 minutes, probably.
I hope it's the whole podcast. Honestly,
it's more of a public service thing, right? I've got a hemorrhoid right now that is life-changing, and it's been a learning experience. I've got all sorts of new issues. So, first of all, you can get hemorrhoids from sitting on the toilet too long. I figured that out. I knew that before I got the hemorrhoid. But what I figured out I was doing was sitting on the toilet to avoid my kids asking me to do stuff because they won't bother me when I'm pooping, I guess. So I would just sit on the toilet and take my sweet time. And one day it just happened while I was going.
Uh-huh.
No big deal. Fine.
Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Like
it was the first time. Yeah, it was the first time that it was like, like it came out. I was like, oh no.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So I thought it was like a zit.
It does normally. It kind of accumulates or forms slowly, but this one I'm pretty sure I felt it. So, it's legit. It was a big one. It is a big one still. I'm still dealing with it, but it's like really painful. And I got a buddy who's a physician's assistant, and it was to the point where I was like, dude, you're going to have to come over and look inside my BH. And he was all for it. He's Anthony Zambuto. Love you, buddy. He's the best man at my wedding. Mm-hmm. He would totally do it and won't even be weird about it.
You got to have a friend like that.
Yeah. And, I mean, he was a Marine. He's legit. But so in anticipation of my buddy looking in my butt, I trimmed down there. And now I'm dealing with the worst chafing possible. And I don't know what to do. I mean, it's just everything it's a Florida snowball, man. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like
sarcastic.
It just one thing after another keeps happening. I'm like, oh my god. I wish it was just the hemorrhoid at this point. Because now every time I go, you notice how you keep asking me to get up and go across the hall, and I'm like, yeah. I'll get to it.
Pre-show, we were trying to figure out tech issues, and our friends across the hall, 2-8 Monkeys, and Damien Alpazar, frequent guest of the program, I was like, yeah, just go over to their office. I didn't even put that together. I was in the zone working on executive summary. For
I'm in the zone.
Business plan.
The hydrocortisone.
Can you get some Top Gun music behind that? That's our promo, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I knew it as soon as I said it.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to find. Why am I blanking on the dude's name? I love him.
What, Kenny Loggins?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we start every show with Kenny Loggins?
Well, we
Idiot.
could. Yeah,
Jesus.
Kenny Loggins now.
I love Arcade Fire, but they're not really bringing the girth like Kenny Loggins. So, how many days have you had this?
This is like 2 weeks now.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it slowly gets better, no matter kind of what you do, or at least what I've done.
It's like being a gay kid in high school. It gets better.
Right,
you don't remember that campaign? No
yeah.
Anybody?
Was that what it was? Okay, I'm just confused because it's hemorrhoid talk. Anyways, okay.
Oh.
The hemorrhoid will go
there.
away. Yeah, it'll go away, I guess, because I'm not really even paying attention to it. I'm just worried about my ass crack chafing me to death. So I'm a little grumpy. You want to talk more about it, or is it,
I mean, does it affect your energy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
The problem,
and you can't tell anybody. No one cares.
Right. Nobody wants to hear that. Like, get off your lazy ass. The thing
I care because it's funny.
Right. I knew it. Yeah. That's why you know about it. So I know it would brighten your day a little bit.
Well, the funniest thing to me is when your friends drink too much and barf. Like, I don't know why. I think it's because there's it's punitive a little bit, and when you barf, I hate barfing so much that I think it's so funny because you can't breathe, and you're just kind of in like this. You know, this pain. It's temporary, so it's not real.
Yeah.
And you brought it on yourself.
I mean, your friends have to be like really injured before you really start to not laugh. You know, like my friends have to be
right.
Like even a minor injury is going to be funny if you're not injured, or if it wasn't like an accident.
Yeah. What is it? Comedy equals pain plus time. A little bit. Sometimes it's immediate.
This is going to be the funniest shit ever then, I guess.
Well, I mean, did you name it?
Yeah, Alfonso, because I'm going to name it like they name the hurricanes. The next one will be a B name.
Oh, you plan on another one coming?
It's not going to be the last one, I don't think. Maybe it will.
Well, is this
Maybe I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, it's just like busting your first nut, and you like, all right, from now on you'll be doing more of that. You know, like, or is it just a one-time thing?
I don't know. Asking the questions. I don't know if my butt's now looser. Like if I'm more prone to it now. If it's just going to fall out. I don't know.
Is it like a baby tooth?
I anticipate at least 25 more, because how many letters are in the alphabet?
26. Yeah,
that's why I did the math.
Just filling.
So, anyways, yeah, there's that going on in my life. You know, the worst part was that like I didn't know if I had to poop or not, because the nerve endings down there, you don't realize that that's what's telling you have to poop, is the pressure on the nerve endings. So when those get messed up, I'm constantly being like, oh, do I have to take a shit? No, I don't. Okay, wait.
Ooh.
What is that? And then it's just like, oh, okay, no, I do have to. And then it's this constant confusion.
I get that a lot, thinking I have mud butt, and it's just sweat.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of that going on.
Well, I've got an ass that doesn't quit. It doesn't take any days off, no vacation, personal days, any of that. It doesn't quit. So when it's hot out in Florida and I'm walking around, I'm like, ooh. I do probably 99% of the time. It's never an issue, but I have to check. So
that's good.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I
just can't believe
I wanted to go a little embarrassing on just to kind of get down on this level with you.
Oh, I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Well, having a sweaty butthole is definitely great.
You live in Florida.
Yeah,
every man has that.
I don't think we're thinking of the frequency of which I have to do this. And I'm also, I run hot too. Yes. So there's that part as well. I'm sitting on your saddle, which I'm sure would hurt.
Oh, don't even say it.
Eric brought a saddle chair in, which I like because it actually makes me sit up half the time. My posture is that I'm going for like scoliosis most of the time.
I know.
So I've got kind of a topic that I didn't run by you beforehand. I meant to. We were just doing too many things. Anything else you got? Or?
No other things growing out of me or anything. That's it.
So, are we trying to shoot for with these episodes? We're keeping this one normal, or are we trying to shoot for that 33 mark? We might have to do in the future, or we might do in the future. Optimal.
What do you got to talk about? We'll keep.
I was trying to think. So I listened to y'all's episode, one of the few without me in it, and I like the shout outs talking about what I was doing. It's pretty funny. And I was walking the dogs and just I was thinking about it, about faking it till you make it kind of thing, and not really relating to performance of y'all. Just how many people I talked to in the startup game, or how many business owners we talked to about how they fake it until they make it kind of thing.
It's like everybody.
Right. Social media to me is kind of that.
At least
on
at
a
some
personal
point.
scale.
Yeah.
Because FOMO's real. I don't like that. I don't like it's coin. What is it? Fear of missing out.
Right.
I definitely have it for sure. I've definitely got it in check because I'm like, why do I give a shit? I should be happy for people that are doing all these things. I'm a person that wants to do a bunch of different things, right? Entrepreneurial, different things. I like the variety. It's the spice of life.
Yeah.
But I definitely was like, I need to not, when things are getting down, don't get jealous or envious of what you see on Instagram of your friends doing because you're like, shit, I want to do that.
Yeah. See, that's not me though.
I know.
I've got fear of being included. I don't want to be once your kids get a little bit, I mean, I don't know though. You got your kids young, if you're taking them, get the strollers, get the diapers, get all that. It's just a huge pain in the ass. And my kids are getting a little bit older, so that's nice. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully I can get back to the FOMO.
It takes 20
attitude.
minutes just to leave anywhere and unpack. So what I was saying is like, yeah, that social media life on a personal scale, it's non-businessy. No, a lot of people don't show the bad stuff, and when they do, it's usually like, I don't have health insurance, I got in a car wreck, here's a GoFundMe.
Right.
That's the bad stuff. I used to take miserable pics as
kind
of a joke, but kind of like we go on spring break and look like we not had a good time at all in college.
Yeah.
And just have those would be the only photos out there. My wife and I do those sometimes. We used to do we'd be at a show behind stage, really psyched, and then we just fake like we're having a bad time.
Yeah, I mean that's good. See, nobody does that.
I think that's real life.
Yeah, I think Ricky Gervais used to do that. Where he'd take the ugliest pictures of himself possible and post them. So nobody does that.
Yeah, so I think there's an oversharing thing where I was trying to do the accountable, wake up, take a picture of the watch deal.
How many days did you make it?
I did about 3 weeks, and then it becomes unraveled just from a lot of stuff at home as far as time management, and we're still moving in kind of thing. That throws in a variable that I can't really control.
Yeah,
and then me not sleeping.
You should be posting a week-long snapshot. And just go for once a week.
Well, so my whole thing was like, I agree with you because it'll turn off anybody. It'll turn off more people. I had more people talk to me about this 4:30 wake up thing than anything I've kind of consistently posted online. The idea was to be consistent too. I have an issue with routine, consistency. I thought this would keep me accountable, and it kind of did. My wife thought I was being kind of a douchebag with it, so it was like, okay, that kind of bummed me out. So I was like, I don't need to do that. I'll do it on my own. I don't need to post it. But it did. 2 people did reach out and say it helped them.
The accountability is what it's about. It's if you're having to post that thing, and then you're gonna have that bad feeling of not doing it. That's what it's for.
So there's that weird. I don't know. There's a duality to me doing some kind of campaign like that, personal, self-improvement thing. But I'll get back to kind of fake it till you make it. And my big thing, I heard Chris Sacca. You know who he is?
No.
I think it's Chris Sacca. I gotta look this up.
I'll look it up.
Okay. He is one of the main investors of Uber. He's one of the fill-in Shark Tank guys who always wears a cowboy shirt.
Mm-hmm. I don't trust him with that shirt on.
I do because I wear a rodeo shirt. That was my stage shirt. So I like it because it's like Zuckerberg with just total gray shirts every day. You just don't have to think about it.
Is that what this guy does? He does these silly cowboy
Western,
shirts
yeah.
every day?
Yeah, it's not a. I think they're pearl snaps. I'm not sure, but it's definitely that old westerny kind of textile. Like if you feel it, it feels like an old glove kind of thing.
Ooh, sounds glove. Nice to wear every day.
Well, he lives in Idaho, Silicon Valley guy. Now lives Idaho, I think, or Montana, because he can. That's how good he is.
Yeah.
So I heard him on a podcast. I want to say it was Bill Simmons's, like 3 years ago. He talked about how he started up, and he literally said he just faked everything until he made it. He failed already once with an idea that he got so ingrained in that he was like negative $800,000 in debt, like of his own. Crazy. Not even like invest or something. It was like he was making money doing something on the side while he was trying to do this one part, and it backfired. And then he had to start all over. And he had like law school payments too, or something like that. And so I'm butchering probably his story, but the main part was the way he got through was he said he brought this like fake it till you make it attitude. It's an entrepreneurial kind of philosophy a little bit. So a lot of startups, a lot of immature businesses, 3 years or younger, I said, you kind of have to say yes to a lot of stuff, get your foot in the door that you might not know how to do.
Yeah.
Video. Tell me, there's got to be so many video things you've done like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the fake it till you make it thing, it's like almost like a negative connotation sort of thing, because you're right. Everybody, there's an aspect to it for everything.
Don't be a phony.
It's just like you're being adaptable and you're wanting to learn about it, and it's weird that you just can't tell somebody that you don't know what it is that you're trying to do.
Well, if I was like, hey, there's a really, we have a project, it pays a lot. I need you to do Adobe After Effects on video. That's the situation where you're like, okay, I know a little bit. I can probably figure the rest out.
I'd say, okay, yeah, no problem. I got it, no problem. And then it would take a couple hours.
And you scramble in your brain like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing about it is like we say it's for immature business, but any sort of new any sort of new aspect to a business is going to have part of that, where it's like you don't know where it's going, you don't know what you're trying to do with it. So
a lot of us do it in real life, non-business. You just go. People are like, so you know how to do this, right?
Yeah.
Like at home, like dads do this a lot. Yeah. I've mounted a big TV before I got it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got it. I've done it before, and you're like, oh, shit, I gotta watch some YouTube videos.
Yeah. It's a weird ego attachment thing, like why. I don't think our generation has it as much, but like our dad's generation, it's definitely like I'd much rather just look like a jackass trying to figure it out in the front yard than look it up on the internet and then actually learn how to do something correctly,
Both have extreme fail points, right? So like our generation just goes like, I'm a pussy kind of thing. And I feel like the older generations, they go, I'm a man, I'll figure it out. And I'm only talking from a man's perspective, really.
Yeah, me too.
Or dad perspective. Yeah. Like, you just figure it out. That's what you do. That's how you do it. You just say yes and do it. They weren't really asking you if you know how a lot of the time. A lot of people just go, can you do this? Not,
yeah,
know
that's
how to
true.
Do this. With our generation, it's the other way too. The extremities are either you're a snowflake and you don't know how to do it and you're very honest.
Yeah.
But you're articulating it in a way that says, I don't know anything about anything. Or you're an expert because you watched YouTube videos.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen definitely both sides of it, but it's like, is the desire to learn it there or not? Like we've had people that it's like, I don't know how to do this, and you have to hold their hand through every step. Yeah, did you try? Did you Google it first?
Right.
Because that's what I'm going to do.
Like what we're really good at, one of the top 5 skills we have is just being patient to Google stuff.
Yeah, like for real, like you can find out almost anything, how to do almost anything. It's all out there. You just need to be patient and figure out what exactly you need to search for. Those search term keyword that's important. You know, you don't necessarily know what you're looking for, but
the best lesson I got when I worked at Dimensional Fund Advisors, a mutual fund company in Santa Monica, was I was a grunt, and I knew Excel, but I didn't know advanced stuff, and I would ask a lot of questions because I was told, ask questions.
mm-hmm.
Don't sit on stuff, and so it's better to ask questions than not. But that's shorthand, right? They're just saying ask questions after you've looked it up for a minute.
Yeah, after you've exhausted all of your mental capacities.
So I would ask, how do you do this VLOOKUP formula on Excel? And I think it was Sean Shannon. Shout out to my buddy, now buddy. But he was technically my boss, or over me or whatever. And he goes, "Oh, dude, let me show you this." And he went over to my computer, typed in Google, and was like, "Fucking figure it out on your own." And I was like, "Oh." Like that.
Good for him.
No, is the best thing. I'm so glad that happened when I was 21, 22. That's the best lesson.
Dude.
We live in an era where we can do that, right? Like, how fortunate are we? 10 years before, you couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, with
20 years.
with like my parents and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, I really have to resist not doing that. It's like you can just type it right in here, this little bar here, and it tells you all the stuff you need to know.
Yeah, that they're not gonna, you know your audience, but like, what I really want to get to is energy is kind of contagious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're having a bad day, and you don't bring that to the office, right?
Yeah.
I vent to you, but I think that's more cathartic when we're talking about stuff going on personally.
Yeah, all the energy's already happened there.
Well, and it correlates so heavily with what we do here too, because work-life balance is huge for an agency or a firm or whatever we are at this office. So, it's that thing of you can bring positive energy, and you can go, "Oh, I want to bring that guy around more," right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You may be a pessimist at heart, says your personality test.
Yeah.
But you bring positive energy.
Yeah, see, there's a difference there.
Out.
Yeah. There's a difference.
You just hate people.
I'm just way too observant. I don't even hate people. I just don't think, I don't expect anything good to ever happen, and that's it.
Yeah, the questions, and look, I could be overly optimistic too. That was the extreme example I was going to give of faking it till you make it, where you can have delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
Right? Things are going well. We're in the right direction.
Yeah.
I definitely have been guilty of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely contagious, all that stuff. I wish we had a little meter that showed us how our energies were doing that day.
It's on the Apple Watch.
Oh, yeah.
Breathe. Here,
check my energy meter.
So all I want to say is, you might not want to do the job you're doing, and I was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do stand-up, or as I got older in my professional career, wanted to do some entrepreneurial things like this. And the deal was like, be so good at that day job and bring positive energy, because if you bum people out, it comes back to you twice as heavy.
You're going to attract that negativity.
It's like that stat I heard that almost blows my mind. For every email you send out, you get 2.3 back.
Really?
Like work emails?
Yeah.
That's why people just stop. Email's just going to die, or something's got to be reformatted with that. But my thing is it has almost an exponential effect both ways.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, you ever know the shittiest person, the person with the worst attitude? You ever notice how much shit they have going on in their life bad?
Right.
My car just got repossessed. It's like, well,
right.
I did see you kick that dog, too.
Well, it can also, in that psychosomatic way we kind of started the show, it can have an effect on you physically.
Uh-huh.
It can you can create this echo chamber in either way. We talk about that with the online world, where you can create an echo chamber of opinions. You can do that with positive or negative kind of enthusiasm.
Yeah, definitself. Especially online. It's easy for that stuff to pop off.
One of my best friends, Lincoln Funk, used to tell me he makes himself smile more when he talks, because it puts him in a better mood.
Yeah. You don't even have to do it when you're talking. Do it in your car?
Yeah. He makes sure if he's singing, he said he'll smile a little bit more while he's doing it. You know, jamming out in the car, listen to George Strait.
Yeah. It's like if I accidentally do a bad traffic move, cut somebody off or something, and they try and get up next to me, big cheesy smile every time. Just give it to him, just like,
that's
sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that one.
Just do like an idiot.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in moron.
The bottom teeth, like, oh.
Yeah.
If you had a tie on, you'd loosen it.
Yeah, but the goofier it is, the more tension that's relieved. That's the key. So try that out.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's a big thing that, and if you're by yourself a lot, we do a lot of work that's like you're kind of isolated. It's like I'm going to jam out this website or this ad campaign, and it's a lot of work where you're just sitting with a computer by yourself. A lot of short-term memory. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
Right.
I'm in the zone, kind of thing. And sometimes, you know, if you bring negative energy into that,
it shows.
It'll show subconsciously in the work.
Yeah, I mean, it does that with, you know, art in general is going to be like that.
Is that why your art's so abstract?
I don't know. My art's pretty straightforward sometimes, but like that like you have that removal. The art is the closest thing to your whatever you want to call it, your energy. You know, at that time that if you're painting something or something that's just clearly creative. But if you're doing work, it might not show up as obviously, but it's gonna. If that makes sense.
In a business sense too, if you were totally transparent, we promote that we're as transparent as we can kind of be. But if you show everything how the sausage is made, every business has a weak point. We're not going to be like, "Hey, I'm behind in my books," because law doesn't like to do them as much, and we can't find a bookkeeper we want to use. So, like, that's an example right there of like, A, no one asked to hear about that, and then B, like, you know, why would we tell people that everything, right? They don't need to know. It's not that we're hiding anything, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
But we're not going to post it on social.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotcha.
Just something to think about.
I know.
No?
Do you think is this all coming back around to my hemorrhoid? Is that what this is? You think my hemorrhoid isn't the badness coming out?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't think about that. But maybe.
Or the good. I don't know. Because it's got to go back in.
Oh, it goes back in.
Yeah.
So it's not like a baby tooth.
So it's like a.
I thought it got lanced though.
No, I chickened out. I canceled my buddies. I chickened out. I told them it's getting better. It is getting better slowly, but still there.
You're bringing positive energy to that situation, right?
It's getting better.
And really, I thought of this because I've always heard on a parenting tip, and this is kind of number one in my book. I'm not a parent guru by any means. We have 2 kids that are under 2. But before we had kids, before we even thought about it, I always heard like kids sponge up a lot of energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever like, my parents didn't want to talk about finances a lot.
Yeah.
Or didn't want to talk about. We're kind of like a cold Norwegian family a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Very white.
Yeah.
And like, don't talk about feelings a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like your family probably talks about feelings.
Yeah.
A healthy amount.
Yeah, we try to. It's really just like kids don't know how to be a human yet, so they're watching the humans they see the most often. And if you're gonna be, however you are, they're gonna want to be like daddy or mommy, and that's how they end up turning. Oh, they're just like their mom and dad. That's what happens, you know.
Right, and I handle situations. People think I'm impatient. I think I'm actually pretty patient. I just like to vocalize a lot of impatient, why it's bothering me immediately, like little stuff.
Yeah.
Like people cut me in line all the time. I don't know why. They don't notice they do it. It's my superpower.
Weird.
It's so weird. It's so weird. My wife's superpower is getting the shittiest customer service person anywhere. Like you'll be like physically at a Target or whatever.
Right.
There'll be 3 people, and she'll somehow pick the wrong one every time. Or she'll get the most shit for nothing.
Well,
the manager will walk by and be like, "You don't have to do that."
I think it's that contagious energy. Did you butt a
No,
lot of
no, no,
people
no.
in line when you were a kid?
No, I just think like a lot of people think I'm a hothead. I think a lot of friends, and I'm like, no, well, I do it for comedic effect. But like, you know, if you have 12 items and you go in the express lane at the grocery store, I get perturbed. I'll say something about it out loud.
But
If it's 10 items or less.
just the fact that you counted them is 12 is okay. 20
Why?
is the real, it's like speed limit, speed limit 60, but the real speed limit 70.
Okay, how about this? If you do it, I'm cool, but you got to be quick. Like, you got to have some pickup.
No coupons, don't write any checks.
Like, you can't be like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
You can't, especially like self-checkout shit if you're behind someone and they don't even give a shit that anybody's behind them. I'm just saying, like, there is a subconscious energy you can bring, and I caught myself, like, I get frustrated and mumble to myself, like, like something like that, and I was like, I'm going to pass that on to my kid. I don't want to do that. And I probably have that going on with work and don't realize it sometimes.
I think, like young men are like so like volatile and, they can be really aggressive and stuff. And I think
just fuck something.
It's just
like that,
yeah. Well, I mean, like early 20s.
I gotta put my penis in something.
The older you get and the older your kids are going to get, the more tired you're going to become and the less energy you're going to have to get pissed off about the 12 items in the line.
No way, man.
I think
I'll get more dad mad. I'm going to take HGH or something.
Good. Get that head humongous.
Well, whatever, whatever does. If I feel a lot better, I'll have a bigger head.
Get jacked.
No, not even get jacked. Just like have more testosterone at a later age, kind of thing.
Yeah.
This would be good for your wellness area.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the best.
Let's find out.
That you're like 30 years. It's like 50s, 60s. You want to start talking about HGH.
I'm talking really small.
Really small doses. Okay.
Really small penis.
Really small.
Got
head.
that? No. All right. I think we're good. On that note. Oh, I got a couple little things. Practical, pragmatic stuff. I'll probably do little tutorial videos, and maybe I'll throw them into like a compilation as a makeup episode, or they'll just be little 1 minute guys, Gary V style, where we have this podcast. We'll have interview ones that are maybe longer, and we'll have like 1-2 minute tutorial deals. Who knows? But I do have to do a lot of like content like that for other stuff. And I realized, as much as we can give this advice out in the podcast, sometimes some things are best. Like I was asked how to get on LinkedIn's Pro Finder. It's something we've brought up on here, professional directory. Sometimes you just got to have like just its own little isolated video. And if we did that during a podcast episode, it'd be kind of boring. It'd be boring to hear, and I'd have to like kind of do it live on tape kind of thing.
Right.
Where
nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah, I'd rather just do something for a minute and have that posted.
Yeah.
Online to help people out. Because this show is supposed to be pragmatic advice. Bring anything you got to the table. I told.
Wait, so did you have something other than just using video?
You can. So there's a site called bark.com that I forwarded you a bunch of potential work. So if you're in a professional services
I was
industry,
on the root beer website.
Bark like a dog.
Okay.
Woof woof. That's how I do the dog noises with my kid. But
that's perfect.
Bark.com, it's an interesting thing. I always say try to catch these potential sites that can bring in revenue before a lot of other people. And if you dominate there, you might have this little niche. So our listeners should know about that.
It's a website development, like it's people logging on looking for website developers, right?
A bunch of stuff. I only sent you the web development stuff if you wanted to do those. So you kind of bid on it as the company like us. We have a certain amount of credits that you buy to bid on jobs. That it's a marketplace. So I put around the United States. I will take any bids. We'll look at them, and it'll give this one's 24 credits. This one's 16 credits. And then you bid on those to get it going, get the talks going. It's pretty interesting. Upwork is a similar thing, but they don't do the credits back and forth system. And so the reason this one's good to get on now is because it was a UK thing first. And I feel like they're only marketing it to the demand side and not the supply side, which is the businesses.
Yeah.
So that's why I get so many of those emails coming in. I literally cleared out 500 last night.
Yeah, there must not be anybody on there.
So we pulled in our criminal defense attorney client, Brett Metcalf, from Hillsborough Defense, last Friday, and I said, let's do a dummy test like I've done on other sites for him. I'll say I got a DUI and see what bids come in, and there's only one. So, so I did a dummy test as the user, trying to find professional services in the zip code we're in, or the city, and only one other attorney on there.
Wow.
So that tells me my hypothesis is probably on point. That there's not a lot of businesses on there. The other thing I have, if you go on our website, TocoWorks.com, TocoWorks.com, our business website, not our brand new Sweat Equity podcast website, which is what, sweatequitypod.com?
Yeah.
If you go on our business site, TocoWorks.com, you can check out this little chat option. So you know how sometimes you go on these apps or software sites and there's a little chat box pops up to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
So we've embedded that. It's called Drift is the app company. It's really interesting. You're going to see a lot more of these bots that look like a real person's having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
But it's just a decision tree.
Yeah. So you had to set that up?
So I set up the basic, if you want to go on the site, check it out. I set up a basic, the most basic. It took me 15 minutes to embed the little widget, but the more we use it, the more we might be able to. I looked at our traffic. We don't get a lot of people that contact us as we should. So if you go down, it's going to take a minute, boom, and it pops up, and it's like, what's up? And it has my picture on it. So I like these things that create engagement online that work in the background for you.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I integrated it with our Slack channel, the general one.
Oh, weird, yeah. And then I got a little update on my watch. I typed something in.
Right. So
see that I'm showing the camera right now.
For coverage, if you or I were able to see that and get on it, we could have a live conversation with them. And then you can set it up to only pop up certain hours. Really interesting stuff. It's called Drift. Check it out on our website, TocoWorks.com, and it'll be on the bottom right-hand corner. It'll take they do like a 3-second pause before it really pops up.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see a little chat option on the bottom right, and if you're on desktop, I'm not sure if it pops up on mobile. But
now I gotta find out.
It's a good call. So those are two of the pragmatic kind of advice things that this is what the show's about. A little general discourse about business philosophy, fake it till you make it, but also I want to make sure we're getting in some of this, like these little things that we know about that we're doling out all the time, free advice wise.
The chat window does show up on mobile.
Yeah, but now
that's cool.
Now we got to test it on non-Wi-Fi.
Okay.
You know how it goes.
We'll do it later.
Quality control. So, you good?
Yeah, don't sit on the toilet too long, people. Change your life.
Make sure to share this podcast with a loved one, friend, family member, who else? People trying to start their own business around the job they're doing. That's really the audience that we think we can help.
We have new emails, by the way, Eric and Law at sweatequitypod.com. Those will go through. So
hit us up there if you got some ideas. You want to send questions in. I want more of a mailbag from listeners.
Yeah.
I like answering questions, plus that does all the pre-production for us, basically.
Yeah, that'd be great. Work for us.
We're on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast app. We're on Vimeo, YouTube, Facebook, our Facebook page.
LinkedIn, Instagram.
We got a Facebook group we got to pay attention to and toss questions in. Big things around the corner. We're excited, and we're excited that you made it this far. Just like Shawshank Redemption, if you made it this far, why don't you come a little further? Mm-hmm.
Yes. And they truly knew the show was over.